world today where in Christianity in general, sin is not considered to be the greatest enemy of the believer. If you look at a lot of Christian television today and a lot of books that are being written, you don't find an emphasis on sin as being the most serious thing of all. It's poverty or sickness that is considered to be the serious problems that believers are facing. And the great danger of watching Christian television that emphasizes this so much is that after some time, you will really believe that your biggest problems are poverty and sickness. Now, I'm not saying poverty and sickness are not problems. I'm saying they are so small compared to sin. That's what many people don't understand. And that's what many people don't realize. It's like saying cancer is more serious than an injury or even a broken bone. A broken bone is serious. It's not as serious as cancer. A broken bone won't kill you. Cancer can kill you. So if you contrast cancer with a broken bone, that's something like sin versus poverty and sickness. So, I'm not saying that God's not interested in the minor problems. But the great danger of believers concentrating on the minor problems is even if they get delivered from those minor problems, they still die from the major problem. So, in a world, in a Christendom that does not emphasize sin or define what sin is, or explain how we can be free from sin, or tell us how to overcome our lusts, it's important that in our churches we major on that, because that is what the New Testament majors on. The Old Testament did not major on freedom from sin. It's very important to understand that. You don't see verses like, sin shall not have dominion over you in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, majored on being free from poverty, being free from sickness, being free from earthly enemies, on getting a large area in which Israel could live, Israel defeating its earthly enemies. You never find anyone in the Old Testament fighting the devil. The first person who fought the devil was Jesus Christ. Nobody till then, not Moses, not Elijah. Elijah fought the prophets of Baal, and the Israelites fought the Amalekites and many other ites, but never Satan. And the mark of God's blessing upon Israel was that they would prosper financially, and that the Lord was their healer. They would not get sick. That was the Old Covenant blessing. And we can see how clearly it is the Old Covenant gospel that is being preached around the world today. And that is what carnal people want. You know, a baby doesn't know how serious cancer is. You go to some illiterate villager, even in India, she doesn't know what cancer is. She's more worried about a broken bone. She says, cancer, X-ray showed cancer, I couldn't care less about that. Fix my broken bone. But if you got cancer and a broken bone, you'd want your cancer fixed, because you know the truth. And they don't know the truth, that cancer is more serious than a broken bone. I want to ask you, how many of you really believe that sin is worse than sickness? How many of you really believe that anger is worse than cancer? How many of you would be desperate to get rid of anger like you would be desperate to get rid of cancer? I tell you, even in our churches, there are very few. How many people are interested in getting rid of gossiping, evil speaking, bitterness, an unforgiving attitude, jealousy, pride, telling lies in small things? How many people believe that these are all much, much more serious than tuberculosis, AIDS, leprosy, cancer, and all the other imaginable diseases that you can think of? I'll tell you why these are more serious. The Bible says in Revelation 21, all liars will go to hell. It doesn't say all cancer patients or all lepers will go to hell anywhere. It doesn't say anywhere that people with AIDS will go to hell. But it does say all liars will go to hell. It does say God fights against proud people. Pride is such an evil that God fights against them. It doesn't say God fights against liars. They just go to hell. But God fights against proud people even when they are on earth. But nowhere does it say God fights against people who got cancer or God fights against people who are poor. That shows that poverty and sickness are not as bad as pride. How many of you believe that? Any type of pride. You think pride is found only in the unbeliever? No. It's found in so many believers.